Hi guys, it's Bunch here with another YouTube video. I'm doing a commentary video of my attacks from the last day of the season again, and I do have a screenshot of my defense because it's already in the next season and I don't have it saved in game, but I ended up going minus 248 on the last day, getting a plus 72. So that put me at rank 100 on my main account and rank 320 on my second account. So of course I'm gonna share the base in the video description. Now if we go in the game real quick, you can see the base right here. Now it is catered towards defending both Broom Witches and Root Riders, so when the Broom Witches are gone, feel free to tweak it to make it defend better against Root Riders or Dragons. Because these Wizard Towers in the middle, and these Seeking Air Mines on the outside, they aren't very good at stopping, let's say, Dragons. So it definitely needs to be tweaked when the Broom Witches are gone, but this is what I use to get the OP defense, so this is what I'll be sharing to y'all. Now, speaking of offense, I averaged 316 on my main account and 319 on my second account. So I'll go to Excel to show the stats right here. As you can see, I didn't have many days. I didn't have too many days with OP defense, but there are some like 276, 278, 259. All of these back to back really boosted me in trophies. And I had this day, 256. That was when I actually skipped the defense. So, of course, there are some lucky days, but you're gonna notice a lot of 320s over here. 316 and 319 as I've mentioned. But of course, the 248 is what ultimately led to my top 100 finish. So look at this consistency, by the way. I only lost trophies on one day, and that's because I failed and got perfected at the same time. But otherwise, I think it was solid. I definitely didn't get as many 320s as most other pushers. I did have some few zeros I did have some consecutive zeros, which really frustrating, but this 294 was only because I disconnected on one attack. So that was unfortunate, but things like that happen. And obviously, I'm still very satisfied with how I finished this season, so. Alright, here's the first attack on a very popular anti-Broom Witch base, actually. So what you're gonna see me do is, come on, I'm gonna deploy the Warden in this corner, of course a test Archer, and set the funnel for the Super Witches and get some pretty good value with just one in this. And I also set up a Flinger to go and clear out the Multi-Inferno and the Ricochet Cannon. So it accomplishes two things at once, and I got some great value. One mistake I do in this attack is I deployed the jump a bit too far to the right, because this jump actually gives my troops access to the Town Hall compartment, which I don't want because my troops can reach the Town Hall over the wall, so it's just not necessary for the troops to go through the poison. I have the King and Valkyrie on the outside the funnel. The first wall break fails because the Warden statue hit it, but I'm gonna wait for the King to tank and send the wall breaker to that junction and get the King inside the base. You always want the King to get inside the base. Now I do freeze the headhunters because I do not want risk losing any of my heroes early. And the King actually splashes the Town Hall and takes it down before my troops go there. So they are not going in that compartment at all. So that's a pretty lucky break for me. A lot of people have asked me whether I prefer Gauntlet or Spiky Ball. Rage File or Spiky Ball, excuse me. And I feel like with my playstyle, the Rage File is just better because I always have the king to Sui a compartment inside the base, and sometimes he can get all the way to the core, and that's why I believe the Rage File is just simply better. I think Spiky Ball is really only necessary if the king is gonna keep his ability throughout the entire attack and just save the Spiky Ball at the end. And for things like dragon attacks when the king just stays on the outside and never goes inside the base. So just the freezes and invis in the core, and RC easily cleans up the back end. Alright, here's the second attack on what looks like another anti-Broom Witch base. Look at these wizard towers on the inside of the base and these air expos. So usually double rage bases are the hardest for witches just because you don't have that warden ability and you have to invest more spells to stop the rage compartments from doing so much damage. So I did take a while to think here, but I went for the simple approach, just getting the fireball to destroy the monolith, the inferno, and both the RC and the queen. So make sure to use that headhunter to stop the early damage from the barbarian king, and it's just getting the witches inside the base. And notice here how I'm really delaying the druids because I only have 6 of them. I don't have 8 of them like in the most common super witch armies, but I only need 6. I've never had any issues with not having enough druids. You just need to just be smart about the way you use them. Like you don't need to use them so early when your troops aren't taking so much damage. So just a simple jump to get them into that town hall compartment, and that gives them access to basically everything. I do keep my troops raged up and they pass through that first compartment easily. I send my RC over there because my king died and the RC just continues where the king left off. Now I do use the healer puppet on the queen just because I'm not using the unicorn. I've mentioned this before, but those healers really help in the back end if they don't die in the core. Like right here, they're still healing my troops even when all my druids are gone. So I think that's just a really good benefit of the healer puppet. And the RC clears the rest of the base like usual. So another overwhelming triple. Here is the third attack, and what do you know? Another anti-Broom Witch base. Look at these central wizard towers and those air expos. Now I have noticed that there's a bit of an audio problem on my side and I'm being cut off a bit at the end of the clips, so I apologize if you're confused by that, but there's nothing to worry about. It doesn't change anything I have to say, or it doesn't leave out any important information that you need to know. So I go for another simple fireball here. One invis takes out 2 expos, a inferno tower, and this warden is just about to get this eagle down. And I do have a flinger here because I noticed that there's nothing in this area that can target it. So if there's good flinger value, then take it. It's always good to have some flinger value to have less buildings that the RC needs to clear up on the back end. And you can just reallocate the king wherever needed if the flinger is clearing out what the king usually gets. So warden pulls out some CC troops actually, but it's just a few archers, so it's nothing. Troops can handle that easily. So the troops get inside the base, king goes in and funnels. I did try to send a wall break to this junction, but it failed, so my king To stop the king from walking around the base, I sent a Valkyrie to funnel, so he should beat on a wall soon. Now, of course, Super Witches are having an easier time right now because there's less Ice Golem CCs. People are putting some CCs to try to counter those Broom Witches. But it's pretty easy wall breaker and jump to get all the troops inside the base. And this town hall is inside some walls, so it's a good sign. It's a good sight because my troops don't have to go inside the poison at all. And I send the RC on the top side because the flinger is still working on the bottom. Skelly spell just to tank for the RC. That's usually where you send all the Skelly spells. The Skelly spell is just mainly used to tank for the RC. And again, it's a pretty easy cleanup for the rest of the base. Here's the 4th attack, and this one is actually a really common base that's been in Legends for like 2 months now. I'll be using my usual approach on it because it seems to be working a lot. Just a baby dragon to take out that mortar, and 1 invis to land the fireball on the bomb tower to take out ricochet cannon, expo, and the enemy queen. Forms a perfect funnel for my troops to go on this side. And I'm funneling this left side because I want my troops to go inside this single inferno compartment. There's the delayed druids. And there's 2 wall breaks. I don't want my troops to go there. I want my troops to take out the single inferno before going inside the base. And I do have the log launcher on this one, because I can't use the jump there because I need the jump over here to get access to the town hall. That's why I'm using the log launcher. Now the king can just skip this compartment, and he's gonna go inside that compartment to take out the ricochet cannon. So this raged core can be a bit annoying, but just a freeze will do the trick and stop all the damage. Sometimes the log launcher does fully destroy the set of walls, so the jump isn't really even needed, but this time the jump was. So see, the super minions end up clearing out that compartment, and there's just nothing much left of this base. Just a Tesla farm and a monolith left. There's druids still alive to heal my troops through the poison. And with the RC there and some leftover spells, it's a pretty easy cleanup for the rest of the base. Alright, so this is the 5th attack of the day. And we're facing another really common base. Now you can see that this base was modified to defend Broom Witches. Look at these central wizard towers. Now I noticed that usually the monolith was over here in the spot of this builder's hut, but it was moved to be in front of that town hall. But that doesn't really change how I attack this base. I usually just go for one of these sides, the scatter shot. I usually have the monolith in the fireball, but there's nothing there, so I just went for the scatter shot, these expos, and the single with this nice fireball. Now, if I deployed the earthquake a little bit sooner, I would have got the CC, and I did. I did miss this expo there, but that's not too big of an issue. Send the queen to pull the warden like usual, and they're just gonna make their way around the base. Now, this wall break does die a bit early and does not open junction all the way. And these witches are behaving pretty poorly. There's 2 of them that are just gonna be stuck in this compartment. And witches, these are the most annoying clan castle, I think, because the skeletons just keep on spawning. That's what makes them so annoying. Even though the witches do splash damage, the skeletons just keep on spawning, and they aren't able to kill the witches in time. Now King and Siege Barracks the funnel like usual, and I tried to get the troops inside the base, but the witches in this side breaks through the wall there. And the queen and the witches end up getting separated. So it ended up being pretty sloppy. So I had to invest some more spells. Get the queen in there. The witches breaks through the wall. I did end up sending the RC a bit earlier than I would like, just to take this expo off the warden. And at this point, I was pretty confident that either the queen or the witches would eventually make it the way to the town hall, because I still have some spells left as well. Again, skelly spell to tank for the RC. The druids are doing a great job at keeping the witches alive. And at this point, it was pretty clear that the RC had an easy path through the rest of the base. So the pathing was a bit sloppy with this open corner and the witches getting stuck in that compartment, but it didn't affect the attack to make it fail. 6th attack, and we're looking at a very familiar base, because I just attacked it today, and guess what? I'm just gonna do the exact same thing, because this is a very popular base and I use the same approach on all of them. This time though, the queen does not get caught by the fireball, and I do have to invest that early headhunter to take out that queen right away. But everything else is pretty much the same. Wall breaks, Valks the funnel, log launcher to get everything in the core. I have this double speed because y'all seen this exact attack earlier on in the video. Yeah, just invest a freeze for the core and everything should be easy peasy. RC picks up in that compartment. Queen for the town hall. Skelly spell to tank for the RC yet again. And I use all my spells here for that back end. I have the freeze and invis left over, and there's nothing else to say about this base. Alright, second to last attack, and at this point I was beginning to sweat a bit because I had 2 attacks left and I knew I had to triple both of them to give me the best shot at the top 200 finish that I wanted. Now this is also a very common Legends base, but the different thing was usually I get to fireball the town hall pretty easily and take the CC behind it. But this time there's a warden statue in front of it, so I knew that I wasn't gonna get the value that I wanted. And plus there was this Tesla, so that I thought was gonna be pretty annoying for the warden. So I decided to just go with a different approach. So I set my warden over here and I was just gonna use a cheap fireball, just 1 invis, and just funnel out one of the corners and take a ricochet cannon alongside it. So I just go into the monolith back here, and I'm gonna use a log launch to get all the way through this base. The funnel was great. Now, the only problem that might happen is that I didn't get too much value with the fireball. I only got 1 major defense out of it, and that was the ricochet cannon. And I leave up 2 raged compartments here. So I knew that I had to invest all my spells to give me the best shot to succeed. There's a rage and a freeze right away. Now, luckily for me, there's not any ice golems in the CC. There was a super dragon. Very good sign, because the witches will not get stuck on that CC. Another invis and another rage for this pack of troops. The druids unfortunately do lock onto the super minions right now, but right now it looks like I really don't need any more healing for my main army, because they've made it all the way across the base, and the RC just does some easy cleanup. So, this just proves that there are multiple ways you can approach a base with the Super Witches. And I still have the RC ability intact, so it wasn't very close at the end, and had an invis left over as well. So, not my usual approach for this base, but it works nonetheless. And I'm glad I made the insight to make the adjustments that I did. Now finally, here's the last attack of the day. And trust me, this is not an attack you want to miss. So, I was faced up against this base. I had never seen this base ever before. And again, double rage compartment base, double rage tower base can be a little intimidating. And with all these open corners, the wall breaks are kind of hard to predict. So, I went for a pretty simple plan, I think. I was just gonna fireball out one of these rage compartments. Now, I did spend a lot of time thinking about it. Now, some Teslas pop up right away, so I had to invest in early Druid. But I got all I wanted. The entire compartment is just gone, and the Archer Queen as well. So right here, I wanted my troops to go inside this compartment and lock launchers through the middle. So I let the king funnel out the monolith. This Valkyrie tanks the monolith for a bit, actually. That's a small detail that it's pretty easy to miss. But right here, look what happens. The queen goes to the middle of the base while the witches walk outside. The queen does fight the super dragon right here, but I don't pay attention to her close enough, and she ends up dying through ability. So really, very unfortunate break here. But I see the lock launcher goes to take out the scatter shot. So I send some wall breaks here. I see the troops going out of the base, and I send the wall breaks to push them back in. I have some funneling wizards as well. So my troops are inside on the other side now, and I invest a jump there to bring them back to the town hall. I still have a king, 2 witches. I make sure to I make sure to reinforce those druids as needed. And as I can see the king making his way to town hall, I send the RC to follow. And again, that skelly spell to tank any backside damage. And as you can see, the single inferno is easily swarmed by the skellies and the bears. And with the RC ability, she cleans up the rest of the base. The reason why I was able to pull this attack back was because I did not panic at all. I stayed calm. I looked at where my troops went next, and I deployed those wall breaks. I deployed those wizards to funnel them back into base. I reacted to my troops as needed, and that's how I was able to recover. So that's it for the video, guys. I really hope y'all enjoyed listening to me talk about my attacks. I'm super happy with how I did. Again, my first top 100 finish. And once again, I do have that last day base link in the description of this video if y'all want to copy it and try it out, and later on tweak it when you don't have to worry about broom witches anymore. So hopefully we can continue the OP offense and OP defense in the next few months. So I'll see y'all in September.